Professor Pravinder Kumar was the pioneer and pathfinder for ICA. He passed away on August 7, 2019 at the age of nearly 90 years. He graduated with a degree in chemical engineering from Delhi and MS in ceramic engineering from North Carolina State University and a doctorate in engineering of material sciences from University of California at Berkeley in 1964. He joined the UC Berkeley faculty in civil engineering and environmental engineering and retired after 30 years of teaching and research in concrete technology. While at UC Berkeley, Dr. Mehta also served as Ombudsman and Director of Southeast Asian Studies. Upon retirement, he was awarded the Berkeley Citation, the highest campus honor, for his contributions to his field and to the University of California. Notable career highlights include several awards he received from American Concrete Institute. Dr. Mehta held 9 patents, authored 4 books, and published 250 papers in original scientific journals. Dr. Mehta was an international authority in concrete and a pioneer in green concrete. His work with work with high volume fly. I'm a professor of medicine, so I don't know his words. Fly ash in revolutionary as it created a more durable and long-lasting concrete that is supposed to last 1,000 years, utilizing less energy, resulting in reduction of our carbon footprints. And from 2000 to 2011, Dr. Mehta volunteered his expertise in designing the foundations for several Hindu temples in the United States and Canada using high volume fly ash. His technology was also used at UC Berkeley's football stadium and Baker and Seton halls. His contributions extended beyond academia. Dr. Mehta founded the Front for Rapid Economic Advancement, which morphed into ICA. After retiring from UC Berkeley, Dr. Mehta launched 2 non-profit organizations, Ahimsa and Himalaya Foundation, in early 1990s. ICA remains grateful for his sage leadership, guidance, and commitment to our organization. His wife Shanti and daughter Neeta are amongst us tonight, and his son Shamir, settled in Oslo, married the daughter of my closest friend, Jakob Natvik, who served as the director of the University Hospital in Oslo, Norway. Dr. Mehta and Dr. Natvik uniquely united the Indian, American, and the Norwegian cultures. With love and respect, we pay a warm tribute to our founder and friend, Professor Pravinder Mehta. I would request his daughter Neeta to say a couple of words, please.
Thank you, Uncle G, for that beautiful tribute. This is a very bittersweet moment for our family, because it was just last year that my father very bravely attended ICA's annual meeting. It would be his last public outing. So today we remember him, his life, his works, and we honor him. Although my father can't be here physically, his spirit is here. It's here through his writings, his contributions, and his deeds, which continue to inspire and influence us. At the age of 76, my father wrote one final book. It was unlike all the other books he had written, which were mostly technical books on concrete. He considered this book to be the most important work of his life, and it was a book about how to conduct yourself in everyday life to achieve true happiness. And he drew on the works of our great sages, our mystics, saints, swamis, and great leaders in our history. And it also included gems of wisdom from the Bhagavad Gita, which he translated into everyday practice. The book had 30 passage days, representing each day of the month, and was filled with quotes and poems and wisdom. My father would be very pleased if I shared with you what he wrote on day 10, as today is the 10th day of the month. The title of that passage is When Work Becomes Worship. In it, he tells us the story of St. Francis of Assisi, how he nursed and fed the shunned, sick, and poor members of our society, because he saw the Holy Spirit in them, and by serving them with loving devotion, he was worshiping the Supreme Spirit. His message was, perform your work as a worship of the Supreme Spirit. The passage ends with a prayer of St. Francis of Assisi. I will include by reading this prayer, which is so relevant to all of us, no matter our race, religion, background, culture, or orientation. It is a reminder for how we should conduct our lives in this day and age, in a world filled with hatred, intolerance, suffering, and violence, to promote a more loving and peaceful world. Lord, make me a channel of thy peace. Where there is hatred, I may bring love. Where there is wrong, I may bring forgiveness. Where there is discord, I may bring harmony. Where there is error, I may bring truth. Where there is doubt, I may bring faith. Where there is despair, I may bring hope. Where there are shadows, I may bring light. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vyas, and thank you, Niti, for setting the right tone for our evening. As you know, this afternoon we had roundtables for the ICA community to discuss how we can be agents of change. To give you a brief summary of our findings, here is Lata Patil, the head of ICA's Women's Leadership Program, to give you a summary of our events.
My following Nita and the prayer that she said is, such a difficult job for me right now. And I thought I knew exactly what I was going to say. But this afternoon, I have been so overwhelmed by your response, by the number of the responses that we got. We sent out an invitation to come and have a conversation with us about how, do you want to be an agent of change? How do you want to be an agent of change? Let's start a conversation about it. And we didn't expect the kind of response we got. It was so overwhelming. And I'm in such awe that you could come here and you would open up your voice and that you would tell us your stories and tell us your own intentions about what you want to do. That has been overwhelming for me today. Okay, but thank you for all of you for being here, participating in the afternoon conversation. What came out of it? We're going to be sending a report to you. we're going to compile a report in the next couple of months and send it out to all of you. But one of the things that we really heard from everyone, just going around the sections, and the way we did it was we divided everyone who came, maybe about 100 people, we divided into 4 sections, focusing on each of the areas that ICA works with. It was health, and it was women, it was education, it was environment. And very luckily, we have our guest speakers today who are experts on that, who themselves are social entrepreneurs in India and have a fantastic job. Okay, they were there to help us and guide us into this discussion. But let me just tell you a couple of things that came out of it. Everybody wants us to continue this, wants ICA to continue this kind of work and bring them all back together. Another thing that we heard was, how do we use technology? There's so much technology in this room, in this valley, in this area. How do we use that to maybe alleviate poverty, gender discrimination, bring social responsibility, bring social justice, all of that? How do we do that? And that's one of the questions that we kept on being asked again and again in each of the sections that people were talking about. And I think that's all I want to say right now. Like I said, we are going to send you all a report about it, and I just wanted to give you a little taste of what exactly happened this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Lata. I hope all of you enjoyed this afternoon, and now you're prepared within yourselves to be agents of change, whatever that might be, whatever that might mean to you. Moving along, one of ICA's first donations to a local US-based charity is to San Jose State University Food Pantry. As you might be aware, and the media has talked a lot about it, student homelessness, hunger, these are all very big problems facing our society these days. San Jose State Cares is a community partnership to end students' unmet needs. It is a university-wide program focused on addressing students' food insecurity, homelessness, health, wellness, economic crisis, disaster relief, counseling, and mentoring. The ICA community has generously decided to make a donation of $10,000 to San Jose Cares. We hope many of you today will contribute generously towards it as well, so that we can increase that number. It will help the local community enormously, as you know. I will now call upon Marco Mellenhoff, Student Affairs Case Manager, to come up on stage and share with us how the university works with the food pantry. So Marco? Do you have the video? Okay.
I don't often think too well of speakers who start their presentation by saying they're gonna depart from what they wrote and prepared for the evening. I hope you'll forgive me for doing that tonight, because I feel like my words just were not equal to the magnitude of this evening. When I learned that the Spartan Food Pantry was the first local recipient of ICA's charitable dollars, I was, honestly, I was absolutely floored. I came prepared with statistics and figures to tell you about the rate of food insecurity among the San Jose student population. I'm sure you're all very well aware that food insecurity and the issue of housing insecurity here in the Bay Area go hand in hand, and I'm so happy to be a part of the university's efforts to at least be able to address the food insecurity. And while we do have some programs to address housing insecurity, there's, as you can imagine, a lot more progress to be made along those fronts. And I hope we'll be able to announce some great changes soon. But for the food pantry, it really was an effort that was started years ago, long before I started at San Jose State University. And individuals have been working towards this for upwards of 11 years. It started with a grassroots committee on campus that in the span of several years was made a formally recognized committee, the Student Hunger Committee on campus. There's now also a formal basic needs task force called the Economic Crisis Response Team that is essentially the advisory committee to guide the SJSU Cares program. And together, all of us are working to address students whose life goal is to improve their situation through an education dynamic, which I know ICA is very intimately familiar with. And we just find time and time again, because of the untenable cost of living here in the Bay Area, that our students are facing barriers and challenges such as housing insecurity, food insecurity, and we finally are in a position to do something about it. In March of this past year, we were able to open the Spartan Food Pantry because we had a coincidence of three critical factors. We had been gathering data and making the case with studies and statistics for those 10 years and continually supplying them to campus leadership. We had the campus leadership finally, and President Mary Pazian, who lent her full support behind the development of a food pantry, and state legislators passed Senate Bill 85, which some of you may know as the Hunger-Free College Campus Act. And we applied for and got $130,000 of those dollars to help finally make the pantry a reality. We opened that pantry in March, and just this month we had our 10,000th visit to the pantry. We have had over 8,000 of those visits this semester alone. So in the most recent 3 months, use of the pantry quadrupled what the pantry saw in its first 4 months. And while we find ourselves thrilled that we have this pantry and have a great community and campus support of it, we still find that this need, this demand, is placing a strain on the operational structures of the pantry. And that is why the contributions that ICA has made to the Spartan Food Pantry via the Student Hunger Fund that is administered by the Tower Foundation, the fundraising arm of the university, is gonna be able to help us respond to those needs. These unrestricted dollars are invaluable and will allow us to purchase some of the critical resources that our students would not be able to get otherwise. We have a great partnership with Second Harvest of Silicon Valley. They provide us with the lion's share of the food that's made available at the pantry to students, but we made it a commitment when we were planning for the pantry to not only provide the cookable food, the whole foods that we get through Second Harvest. 70% of our students who use the pantry take the fresh produce that is made available there by virtue of Second Harvest. But we also wanted to make available single-use items, things that they could just open and eat while they're on campus taking classes, or if they're living somewhere where they don't have access to a kitchen. We made it a priority to make personal hygiene, feminine hygiene, toiletry items available because these two are things that are critical to student health and wellness. And we all know they're an important part of our lives, so why wouldn't they be an important part of students' lives? We don't require any documentation for students to access the Spartan Food Pantry. As long as they're a currently enrolled student, if they have their Tower ID card with them, they can use the pantry once a week. All they need to do is attest to the fact that they are experiencing food insecurity and would benefit from food assistance. If you want to attach a dollar figure to it, we do follow Second Harvest's guidelines that are 275% of the federal poverty level. So for our students who make under $34,348 per year, and as you can imagine from your time as a college student, that's virtually no college student here in the Bay Area. They're able to use that pantry. They don't have to speak a word of need. They can just show up, fill out our user agreement on our laptops. You may have seen them pictured in the photos to the left, and they're able to use that pantry for the rest of their time at San Jose State if they need it. It was really inspiring being here this evening, being a part of that conversation. I, as you can imagine, opted for the education dialogue. And it's just so neat to be a part of this organization's efforts to make things better in the Bay Area and the local community. Again, I'm truly humbled. I'm so appreciative. I promise you, we will be active and very judicious stewards of the charitable dollars that you earmark for the Spartan Food Pantry. If I can answer any questions, I'll stay as long as there are questions after this event. And I thank you for what you're doing. It seems like ICA is poised to make an ever greater impact in both the local and the Indian communities. So happy to be a part of that. Our students benefit from it, your students benefit from it. We know that 15% of the users of the Spartan Food Pantry are our international students from India, and we're so pleased that they are comfortable and use the resource well. They constitute 30% of the visits at this pantry. And so thank you for allowing us the flexibility through your contribution to be flexible and continuing to meet these needs of our students as they continue to grow and develop until we solve the issue of housing insecurity in this country and in the Bay Area, and until we solve the issue of food insecurity. Thank you, and again, we so appreciate your support. Have a good evening.
Any questions for Marco? Yes.
We have had 10,000 visits to the pantry to date, 8,000 visits this semester. Yes. Thank you.
My question is simply about what are the plans for San Jose State to address the housing insecurity issue, because that is the key to the whole problem of living in California. It's become so expensive, rentals are sky high. For students and a low budget, with student debt, it's going to be, I'm assuming it's very hard for many of San Jose State's students. So how would you address the housing insecurity? What are the plans to address the housing insecurity?
So the SJSU Cares program actually does have some programming in place to address housing insecurity on the part of our students. It's primarily structured towards short-term acute housing insecurity. And for our students, and there are those students who do experience chronic, long-term, or multiple experiences of housing insecurity, it takes resources to the extent that we want to draw upon the most qualified community partners to help get these students the resources they need. We offer things such as referrals to the Wilson Center. We have short-term emergency assistance funding that we provide to students in situations like this on a grant basis. It's not a short-term loan. There are short-term loans available on campus to help students. And we do offer quite a bit of financial counseling. Oftentimes, what I've found is that students who are in attendance, they have financial aid, but they have not had anyone walk them through the strategic value of the different types of financial aid. So we spend a lot of time doing financial counseling with students. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to say quite yet, to speak to some applications we have out for some relatively large funding projects for addressing, one of which addresses housing insecurity particularly, but if any of you have worked in large organizations where you're working on new programming, large programming, I'm sure you understand that there's, you know, the person who leaks it first, you know, they shoot that messenger. So please watch the news, because I hope we will have some very exciting news to announce in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But you're right, that, in my mind, the housing crisis is at the root of the food insecurity issue. And it's going to take much more than the university to solve that issue. It's going to take great organizations like ICA, community leaders like all of you, the tech sector, local government, city government, state government. So I applaud you all for getting involved, because we're going to need your support in helping address this issue on a local basis. That's not a satisfactory answer. Unfortunately, it's the best information I have at this time.
So I'm going to give him the check that we have. Moving along. Today we are proud to honor two luminaries in our world, Shri Satyajit Bhatkal and Shri Vinayak Lohani. Some of you had the opportunity to meet with them this afternoon. Vinayak Lohani is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur and IIM Calcutta, and somewhere in his student years he decided that he wanted to veer off corporate aspirations and find meaning in social avenues. He remains profoundly influenced by Swami Vivekananda and has sought the path of social enterprise through education. Thus was born Parivar, through which thousands of students from disadvantaged backgrounds get education and housing. What we will do right now is also introduce Satyajit Bhatkal so that we can move along. Shri Satyajit Bhatkal is CEO of the Pani Foundation. He is a producer and director of one of India's most successful series that dealt with social issues, Satmave Jayate. He currently serves as the CEO of Pani Foundation and spearheads an amazing drive to reach 4,000 villages for deep water reservoirs. His training as a lawyer, his artistic intuition, and his organizational skills have made Pani Foundation and its efforts a beacon for simple, scientific, and well-orchestrated execution. We will start with Shri Lohani's video, and when that is over, he will come and address the group.
Was driven by the inspiring exhortation of selfless service given by Swami Vivekananda. This man, Vinayak Lohani, resolved to devote his entire life to serve the divine in man, as taught by Swami Vivekananda. In 2003, with just 3 children in a small rented building on the outskirts of Kolkata, he started a Parivar, a home and family for children from deprived, homeless and destitute backgrounds. Scarcely did he know that the seeds of service he was sowing would become a huge tree in the years to come, spreading across various parts of the country and changing the lives of thousands of destitute and impoverished children. His dream Parivar has, for the last 16 years, been working towards the total care and overall development of children who are highly vulnerable to exploitation, victimization, and trafficking, like orphans, street children, abandoned children, and extremely impoverished children from tribal areas. In Bengal, Parivar has 2 residential educational institutions, Parivar Vivekanand Sevashram for boys and Parivar Shardati for girls. With over 2,200 resident children, these are West Bengal's largest free residential institutions for children from deprived and destitute backgrounds. There, Parivar provides all opportunities for education and overall child development in a loving and caring atmosphere for boys and girls from the early age of 5 till their higher education of university level graduation and employability programs. From 2016, Parivar has started working in Madhya Pradesh, where it has set up 135 means-cum education centers called Shri Ramakrishna Vivekanand Seva Kutir, serving more than 11,000 children in selected impoverished tribal and rural pockets in Devas, Sihor, Mandla, Shivpur and Chindwara districts. This is the story of Parivar, Vinayak Lohani's vision and its fulfillment.
One day it struck me that I should start a shelter home for children from very difficult backgrounds, and to whom I could dedicate my whole life. I could bring them up as my own younger brothers and younger sisters. So in that spirit, as a guardian to them, I can live my whole life. I was first looking for land where I could start and then do some construction in that land. But even a small piece of land was costing so much that it was just beyond any kind of imagination that I had. So I decided to start in a rented building. I therefore saw a few buildings and finally zeroed on a rented building which was near the IIM campus, and rent of which was around 12,000 rupees. So I started taking lectures for MBA aspirants in some coaching institutes in Calcutta, and through that I could meet this rent.
The support base of Parivar started improving as word spread among his friends, batchmates and institute alumni. His mother, who lived by the simple philosophy of good actions lead to good results,